Hello there. It's good to see you here. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a little while, so I thought I would jump on here real quick and continue our conversation about light. I had some thoughts lately that I wanted to share with you. And let's start by reading Matthew 5:14 through 16. You're probably familiar with this as it's part of the Sermon on the Mount, but I really wanted to highlight this point, and this is where it starts. You are the light of the world. Okay, that's a pretty bold statement. I mean, I don't think that I would ever be faced with a group of people that I had probably not personally met and say something as broad as that, but it appears that Christ was addressing a very large crowd of thousands of people, and all at once he's telling them, "You are the light of the world." Wow. So, what does that mean? Well, let's go on. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. Well, there's another broad statement. He's saying, Your Father. And, we talked about the Lord's Prayer, where he also says, Our Father. I mean, to Christ, it was a given that we are God's children. So, the reason I'm bringing this up is that I feel like even the last couple of times I've jumped on here, I've been talking about how there's so much turmoil in the world, maybe even more than usual with the election. And like some people are really excited about the results, and other people are really traumatized. And then there's all this talk of possible World War III, and there's a bunch of social issues going on, and it just seems like things are kind of ramping up chaotically. On top of that, I don't know how familiar you are with like the geomagnetic storms, and they do have an effect not only on weather patterns but also on people's like psycho emotional states. So if you take note, like if you go to spaceweather.com, they'll talk about when there's a major solar flare or a coronal mass ejection is what they call them. And then days later, when that hits the Earth's atmosphere, it will also kind of coincide with a lot of like storm buildups. And you can notice, I think, in people that they also seem to get amped up and affected by it. So I know that kind of sounds woo. Maybe it's, out, out in left field, but, just kind of be aware that there are things in the physical realm that we're affected by, and then of course in the spiritual realm as well. So back to you are the light of the world. I want to talk about this because I feel like if we really understood how we influence the temperature, let's say, around us, like, if you walk into a room and everything's settled within you, you are at peace within yourself and with others. You've forgiven people. You're not angry. You're not worried about being offended. You're not irritated. None of those things. You walk into a room and you carry that with you. What do you think that does to the people around you? I mean, first of all, if they're carrying those things, if they're angry and frustrated and feeling all those negative emotions, it can change the atmosphere enough where they notice something different about you, and it can give them pause. And maybe they'd actually rather be happy and at peace, and they'll see that you've achieved that, and they kind of want to emulate that. I think that people, we are a lot more affected by each other than we want to admit sometimes. And I mean, we are social, right? So we pick up on the people around us. So that's another thing. Like if you want to be at peace, if you want to be happy, then hang around with people that are like that. Because if you're hanging around with negative, angry, complaining people, guess what? you're going to be negative, angry, and complaining because that's just how we are as humans. So I think what Christ was saying about us being the light of the world is like setting us up to recognize the influence that we have to emulate our Father who's in heaven and actually represent his his love to the world. And I know that's kind of a broad statement too, but I hope that you really think about that and how it relates to light, because there's something in the physical medical field now actually called light therapy or biophotomodulation, and it's something that's really been taking off in the last few years. And red light therapy and infrared light therapy are probably the most common ones that we've heard about. And so let's talk a little bit about the wavelengths of red light versus near infrared light and then infrared light. So red light is the light you can see that's red. So that would be like 600 nanometers to 690 nanometers, almost 700 different wavelengths in there. And then near infrared, we can't really see it, but it's still closer. They're the waves are closer together. So it's called near infrared. And that's about like between 700 and 900. So a couple hundred different wavelengths of light. And then if we go on to the infrared light beyond that, like it's from about 900 to, I think they've been able to identify up to 3,000. So there's, like potentially 2,100 wavelengths of light that we can't see, but every single one of those wavelengths have a different effect on our biology. So let's look at, I have a chart here that I'm just going to kind of cherry pick some things to share with you. Some of the most studied wavelengths of light for therapy are the 630 nanometers, so that's visible red light, and the 860 nanometer, which is the near infrared light. Anyway, so let me just say what types of things have been medically studied, conditions have been corrected and treated with a wide, vast array of nanometers of light. I can't possibly go over all of them, but I'm just going to start listing some of the things that this red light and infrared light therapy has a benefit or has shown benefit in clinical studies. So let's go. Weight loss, fat burning, cellulite reduction, metabolism, thyroid function. Those are kind of all in one, but still, they were individually tested. Anti aging, acne, scars, rosacea, hair growth, sun damage, wrinkles and fine lines, droopy or creepy eyelids, under eye circles and bags, broken capillaries, pain relief, wound healing, injury healing, muscle building, athletic performance, post workout recovery, mental stamina, cognitive performance, asthma, depression and anxiety, tinnitus or tinnitus, arthritis, multiple sclerosis, stem cell regeneration, Parkinson's, hypertension, liver function, fertility, herpes, cold sores, and other simplexes. Wow, that's a lot. So, that is the physical red light effects on our biology. It's pretty exciting. And there were years and years of studies on these different, like from 1903, they started studying red light therapy in particular, but they were using it for things like smallpox, chickenpox, tuberculosis, skin disorders, lupus, and all actually showed really great recovery rates for people. But it kind of fell off the radar for like quite a while, almost 100 years. And most of that was due to the fact that we had developed antibiotics and they seemed to be proving very effective for a broad range of different illnesses. So the light therapy went by the wayside. But now that we have things like superbugs that antibiotics can't seem to take care of, red light therapy has come back up into the interest of the medical field. So I wanted to leave you with that. I don't know if I will be back on for a while. If not, I would like to pick up where we left off, the beginning of 2025. And I hope that you're all blessed. And I really appreciate you coming here and listening to me. And I hope that you get something out of it. And if you do, please leave something in the comments and like the video, share it with people that you think it might help, and also subscribe. That'd be great. All right, take care. Thank you.